Beyond the Obvious. And today I have my special guest. Take from click to pick, and of course, the author of the book Left of Trust, none other than Mr. Andrew Colsky.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Mr. Andrew on Abstract Cafe. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely. So, my name is Andrew Colsky, and I am founder of a company called Be Picked. And what that company is a company that helps professional service providers to basically get their clients to get out there on the internet, to put themselves out in a way that people can find them and trust them so that they can hire them. And as part of that journey, I wrote the book Left of Trust, which you could see on your screen.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Andrew. Here on Abstract Essay, we celebrate you, we salute you. And today, let's talk about the book itself, Left of Trust. You coined the phrase "left of trust" to describe the territory before a client ever reach out. Paint a picture for us, Mr. Andrew. What is the potential client actually doing and feeling in the space, and why do most professionals completely ignore that terrain?
Sure. So there's a bit of information here that I'm going to kind of put in order for you. So let's start off with the fact that my background is in psychology and also in law. And I have been a professional service provider myself, and I've dealt with all the problems that I talk about in this book. So the book is talking about this area that I call left of trust. And what is that? Well, when someone is going to hire a professional service provider, a lawyer, a doctor, a realtor, anyone who's providing any kind of a service like that, they have a lot of people that they can pick from. There's hundreds of thousands of people that have the same qualifications, the same license. So why are they going to pick you versus picking the person next to you? The thing that makes them pick you is trust signals, things that they learn about you that make them think and understand that you understand their problem and you can help them through their problem. So think about someone who is a lawyer and they get a law degree and they do well in school and they open up an office and they're in a building with other lawyers because it's down by the courthouse and they are looking for clients. And then you have a person who's also a lawyer, went to the same school, got the same grades, did the same things, opened up an office in the same building right next to them. But the second person, in addition to doing all that, has taken the time to go out and put themselves out onto the internet in ways that they are attracting clients. And what does that mean? It means that they are understanding who their ideal client is and understanding what the problems are that those clients have, and then putting out information that addresses that. So, if they are let's say they do landlord tenant law, the first attorney that I described may build a website that says, I do landlord tenant law, call me. The second one that I'm talking about realizes that landlord tenant law is the thing they do, but it's not the problem their client has. The problem their client has, maybe their client is the landlord. So the problem the landlord has is I have people in my apartments that are not paying rent and I can't keep my business going if I don't have rent. I need them to pay their rent or I need to evict them. So that attorney is going to put information out on the web in terms of blogs, YouTube videos, LinkedIn posts, things that talk about what do you do if you're a landlord and you have tenants who are not paying rent? And so you're going to address the problem your potential client has. and you're going to prove to them that not only do I understand your problem, but here's some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way that you need to know about. And I can help you solve your problem if you need it. I'm available. So, all those things that they do, the videos, the blogs, the information that they put out, those are things that they do to the left of trust, because those are things that the potential client is going to find when they're searching for someone to help them with that problem. And it then leads that potential client to realize, oh, wow, here's someone who understands my problem. Here's someone who works with my problem. Here's someone that's given me some potential solutions to my problem. That's the person now that I trust because they've earned my trust. That's the person I'm going to hire. So the lawyer in the second scenario gets hired. The lawyer in the first scenario, just as good, doesn't get hired. That's the concept of the book of Left of Trust.
Well said, Mr. Andrew. And tell us, you've said the client has already decided before its first phone call. Not probably decided, already decided. What is a specific moment in your career as a trial attorney or a mental health professional where you realized that was true, and how did it unsettle you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's two primary things that led me to understand that and how that works. One of them is from my own experience, and one is from the psychology and the tests and things that people, professors had done. So let me first tell you my experience. My experience was when I was first out of school. I did some landlord tenant work myself in terms of owning properties and renting them out to people. And I had some of these landlord tenant issues as an example. And I went to, there was a class at um, an adult education class that this attorney put on about landlord tenant issues. And I went to the class and it lasted, I don't know, 4 weeks or something, four nights. And he taught us a lot about issues that were out there. He showed us what the problems were that we were having. He showed us why. He showed us what the solutions were. He showed us that he did that type of work. So a year or two later, when I had a problem that I needed to have solved, who did I go to? I went to him. I had already decided that he's the one because he clearly knows what he's doing and he's demonstrated that to me. So that was one piece of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle came from a study that was done in the 1950s. And it was done by a professor by the name of Harry Harlow in Wisconsin. And the study he did came down to something that's a fundamental truth that I realized through my mental health practice. And the fundamental truth is that all of us are always seeking comfort. So if we have a problem that's bothering us, that's a pain point. If we're hungry, that's a pain point. We want food. Why? Because it's going to bring us comfort. If we find a rash on our arm and we don't know what it is, it's concerning us, it might be problematic. We're uncomfortable till we find out that it can be cured and bring us back to comfort. So the study that Professor Harlow did is he had some baby monkeys who were orphaned, didn't have a mother, and he built two surrogate mothers. One of them was made out of wire, and it had the ability to provide food to the babies. The other one was made out of cloth, and its only purpose was to provide comfort. And what he found through a series of experiments is the babies always spent their time with the cloth mother, and they would only go to the wire mother when they were hungry, get their food, and then go back to the cloth mother. So it was innate that we all are seeking comfort. And if you think about anything in your life, I don't care what it is, anything that makes you uncomfortable or anything that is painful to you, that thing kind of permeates your thoughts until such time you can take care of it and get back to a state of comfort. So, knowing that about people, knowing that psychological aspect, told me that, what was necessary here was not telling people that you have a great degree, not telling people that you are licensed to practice law or whatever, but helping people understand that you understand their pain point, you understand the comfort they're trying to seek, and you have the ability and knowledge and skills to help them achieve that comfort. So that's kind of the whole big picture of how all that came together.
Well said. Well said, Mr. Andrew. Frightened people don't search for the best. They search for feeling that the search is over. That's a profound line. What is the psychology underneath that statement, and why does it up upend most professional marketing advice?
hmm So that gets us into this concept of cognitive trust and affective trust, two different types of trust if we're talking about the psychological component behind it. And think about yourself. If you're looking for a solution to something, it could be a product, it could be a professional, it could be whatever. What do we typically do these days? We go out and we look online, we look for information, we look at reviews, we look at, you know, all sorts of things that are available to us to help us judge one thing versus another. If we're shopping for a product online, we may look for reviews on that product and see what other people said. We may compare prices, we may compare features, those types of things. If we're looking for a professional, it's the same thing. Now, in the old days, the professional, all they had to do was put up a website and say, I'm a landlord tenant attorney and I am licensed, and here's where I went to school, and here's the honors that I received when I went to school. Therefore, obviously, you should hire me. And it worked, you know, it was helpful. And that information is still important today, but it doesn't work the same way. In order for people to trust you, so cognitive trust is trust that the potential client has, that is based upon logical reasoning, that is based upon, okay, they're licensed, they went to a good school, they've done these, you know, good, received these good honors for their good practice. That's all important stuff, but it's not the thing that's going to get the professional found in the first place, and it's not the thing that ultimately is going to, you know, capture the client to even find them to worry about that stuff. That comes later in the process. What comes earlier in the process, and again, left of trust, is what we call affective trust. And affective trust is based on the emotional side, not the logical side. So it's what types of things or information or videos or blogs or whatever is out there, what is going to resonate with me that makes me feel that this person understands me and my problem? And does this person present that in a way that makes me believe that they can ultimately help guide me to comfort? So the cognitive trust part, I have the degree, I have whatever, those are important elements in the decision process, but they're not even looked at until after the affective trust, the left of trust, where people look at all of the information, they make sure this person understands me, they make sure the person can help solve this problem, and then they check, are they properly licensed, do they have the proper degree, so on and so forth. Once they have that full package, then the decision is typically already made. This is the person I'm going to hire. So by the time they pick up the phone to call, they've already hired you in their mind. They just need to get the date that they can come and talk to you. That's very different from people who just have their degree out there and then they get a phone call and the person needs to interview them and ask questions because they don't know anything about this person yet, and they may or may not hire you. That's the difference.
A big difference indeed. You reference a famous 1950s experiment with infant monkeys over two artificial mothers, one wire, one cloth. Walk us through that experiment, why it stopped you cold. What does the monkey choosing cloth over wire have to do with the client choosing a lawyer or a therapist?
Yeah, and that's a study that I was talking about that was done by Professor Harry Harlow. And I'll tell you another aspect of it that's interesting that kind of leads to this. So I talked about the fact that the wire mother provides food, the cloth mother provides comfort. The babies obviously preferred comfort. Now, here's another piece of it. He set up a situation where the baby monkeys were free to go out and play, big open field, do whatever they wanted to do. But the cloth mother and the wire mother were available. The babies would go out and play, and whenever they felt scared or concerned or whatever, they would run back to the cloth mother and they would spend some time with the cloth mother to get that comfort. And then they'd venture out again and play and whatever. Now, he took another situation where he removed the cloth mother, he removed the mothers. So the babies are playing and they don't have the mother to run back to. So when they got scared and when something happened and they didn't have that comfort, they also didn't have the cloth mother to get the comfort from. So what did they do? They kind of curled up in a fetal position and sucked their thumb because that was the only way they could give themselves comfort. And the purpose of that experiment, again, was to show that at its core, we are always seeking comfort. Whenever we feel scared, whenever we feel pain, whenever we feel unsure, we seek comfort. So it's innate in us. And so whenever a professional is trying to put themselves out there in a way that they are going to be trusted and ultimately hired by clients, it's because they've done it in a way where they've become the cloth mother. They are the comfort source that the client can run back to when they're upset or scared or afraid or concerned about whatever their issue is. And the one who does that more effectively, even though they maybe didn't go to as good a school as the person next to them, or they didn't have as good grades as the person next to them, the client doesn't care. The client is seeking comfort. They're not seeking what school you went to.
Well said, Mr. Andrew. You draw a direct line from experiment of how clients hire. What does a cloth matter marketing actually look like on a website, a LinkedIn profile, or a discovery call? Give us a tangible difference.
Sure. So let's think about sort of the reality of what happens out there. Let me think of a scenario. You have a person. Um, let's take a home. You got a mom, dad, and two kids. Okay, kids are in elementary school. Mom and dad are trying to provide for the family, food, housing, clothing, etc. And dad gets injured on the job, and mom and dad are both working, but dad is drawing a bigger paycheck in this particular family. Dad gets injured, he's unable to work. As a matter of fact, he ends up in the hospital, and they thought they had good insurance, but by the time he gets out of the hospital, they start to get these really big medical bills, way more than they can afford. They've got to pay their mortgage, they got to pay for the kids, they got to pay for food, they have to pay for all these living expenses. Now they got these massive medical bills. So what happens? So dad is recovering, mom is getting the medical bills because she's taking care of the mail while dad recovers. And she tries to go into bed at night to go to sleep, but she can't sleep because all she can think about is, oh my gosh, are we going to lose our house? Are we going to lose, everything we have? How am I going to pay these medical bills? I can't afford to do this. And who knows whether dad's going to recover to be able to be earning the money. So we don't know. So she's laying in bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is on her mind. She can't sleep. She goes on her phone and she starts searching. What do I do if I have medical bills that I can't pay? Will I lose my house? What's going to happen? Well, when she searches that, content is going to come up because there's nothing that you search for that doesn't have some kind of content come up. If you are the attorney who's seeking clients who have these types of problems, you're not going to show up if all you have is a website that says, I'm a bankruptcy attorney and I help people with bankruptcy. Because she's not searching for bankruptcy. She's searching for, what do I do when I have medical bills that I can't pay? But if you're the attorney who has a YouTube channel and you talk about various different types of problems, this being one of them that people can run into that bring money problems, and you have a blog on your website that talks about different types of problems, again, this being one of them, and you do some other social media outreach where, again, same consistent message. These are the types of problems people run into, and this is how we address them, and this is what the laws are that can be beneficial for you, and I can help you with that. Well, mom's going to find that person. She's not going to find the one who just has a website that says I'm a bankruptcy attorney. And when mom finds that person and finds that material, if this person is consistently putting material out, there's something called vocabulary seeding. Vocabulary seeding is each one of us, when we talk about a problem, we tend to use our own language to describe it. Not even intentionally, it's just the way we do it. So if I'm the bankruptcy attorney who's putting out a bunch of social media information and I put out a YouTube video, I may talk about this particular problem in a particular way. Some phrase that I use or something is the way that I talk about it. Well, mom sees that video, she hears that phrase, it sounds interesting to her, like it kind of addresses what she's dealing with. And so she looks up that phrase. And what does she find? Because I'm the one that typically uses that phrase, most likely she's going to find more content that I put out there because that's the phrase that I use. So now she's finding more and more of my content that is addressing the problem that she has, giving her relevant, helpful, information and tying it to my name. Well, then I'm continuously building that trust, all the stuff left of trust, moving her towards trust. And there's one other psychological aspect here that I'll tie in because it's relevant. It's called the Bader-Meinhof frequency illusion. And what this is if I say to you, gee, I've seen an awful lot of yellow cars on the road lately, you may say to me, well, I haven't really paid any attention. I don't know. And as soon as I say that to you and you go out on the street, you're going to start to see a lot of yellow cars because it's in your mind now. It's a frequency thing. So when this mom is laying in bed reading articles and she starts to see more and more articles from me, that frequency thing elevates it so that I'm basically the only one. I am the authority on this topic as she is seeing it and researching it. It makes me the trusted one. It makes me the one that she's going to hire.
Well said, Mr. Andrew. And to wrap up our discussion for today, if a professional feels overlooked in their field, they're competent, they have a credentials, they help people, but they are not getting chosen. What is the first step they should take tomorrow morning that costs nothing but requires honesty, not a system, not a tool, just a question they need to answer?
Yep, there's a very simple answer to that, and they shouldn't do it tomorrow morning. They should do it tonight, depending on what time it is for them. But what you should do is, in order to address this issue, you have to know where you stand. So you have to do an analysis of what you're currently doing to see if there's any shortcomings so you know what you have to fix. And the cheap, easy way to do that costs nothing is go to my website, www.bpicked.com, and we have a free assessment tool there. Fill it out, you'll get a report right there online. It'll tell you your strengths and weaknesses, and you'll know where you need to start.
Well said, Mr. Andrew. So can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your business, your project, or anything you want to promote on our podcast site?
Well, I would certainly appreciate if you take the time to visit bpicked.com. You will find the free assessment there. You'll find a link to my book, which you can pre-order now. It's available on Amazon, but you can get it through the website as well. And you can learn about our credibility generator, which is our tool that will help you fix all the gaps that you find in the assessment. So we try to make it all available in one place, and we'd love to take a look. It doesn't cost you anything for it.
Well, yeah, Yes, people, let's connect with Mr. Andrew. And I have one more question before I will let you go. You've written a book called Left of Track. If a listener buys it, reads it, and implements nothing else, what is the single chapter or concept you hope haunts them until they change something, and why that one?
Mhm. I think the most important part is the part where we talk about this concept of the one real truth, which is people work towards comfort. Because if you understand that concept, then everything that you do in your marketing, in your client, acquisition strategy, if it's based upon helping that client go from pain to comfort, that's the whole goal of what you're trying to achieve, and that's what's going to get you the clients and business.
Well, Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, people. See you soon. Again, Mr. Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good work and create more books that makes the world go round. Thank you. Have a good one, sir. Bye for now. I have a next guest, Mr. Andrew. So can you just hold? Thank you. All right. Hello, Miss. How are you?
Very good.
Very good. So, my apologies. Should I address you, Miss or Mister?
Oh, Deepak Chari.
Deepak Chari, but it's my brand. Either I address you, Mister or Miss. So, Mister.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely am a Mister for sure.
Okay, Mister Chopra. So, thank you so much for being part of my podcast. So, the interview takes 20 to 30 minutes. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, as well on LinkedIn and X. I have a guest in the lobby, which is, I think he's confused about the time that we will do the interview. Can I just talk to him
Of course, of
five
course.
minutes?
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. And before you go, how is my voice? I'm using a Blue Yeti microphone. Can you hear my voice okay?
Yes, it sounds clear, Mr. Deepak. So just give me a minute.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will
no worries.
just
Take
talk.
your time. No problem.
Thank you so much. Hello, Miss Trudy. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for being part of my podcast. But I would just let you know that your time for the meantime is after 1 hour. I'm a Pacific in Standard Time. So can you come back after 1 hour? Your time is 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay.
Oh, so you're saying that we can't start now?
No, because my guest is Mr. Deepak right now. I just let you in just to tell you that your time is not yet. You are on the 2:30 time slot after 1 hour.
Oh my goodness. Well, we may have to reschedule. Would that work for you if we tried to
Yes,
reschedule?
yeah, definitely. Just reschedule it. And my
Mhm.
apologies for the confusion. Okay, Mr.
Okay.
D. Yes. So just uh book it on Padmas. There's a link of the calendar link is there, so please do so.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure we take care of that.
Yes,
And
please.
it was nice speaking with you for a couple of minutes.
Yes, thank you so much for understanding and have a good one, Mr. Day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Mr. Deepak, for letting me doing that. Thank you so much. So our topic for today is all about. Just give me a second and let's talk about something good. So let's do. Give me a second and here we go. Let's talk about how identity is shaped by unseen emotional imprint. I think you're on abstract asset. Can I use your website to be featured for our conversation for
Of course,
today?
yeah. Yeah,
Thank,
fastanxietyhelp.com is my website.
thank you. Let me know if it is the right one. Okay.
Yeah,
Is this, yes, okay. This, if this the right one,
that's the
let's
one.
do this. Music, please. Music. And here we go.
You can X that.
Okay.
You can X that part off. That's just a pop-up thing.
Okay.
That,
Oh,
that's for people scheduling a consult. For complimentary. I offer a complimentary consult,
that,
15 minutes.
oh, that'd be awesome.
I'll talk
Okay,
about PM. Yeah, go ahead.
let's do this then, Mr. Deepak Chari. We're live after 5 seconds.